We want to tell you about something that we did with Condoleeza Rice yesterday. Now, she knows something about presidents and second terms. She served in both terms of George W. Bush and, of course, was his Secretary of State in his second term. Secretary Rice is now a CBS News contributor, and we sat down with her in Washington yesterday to talk about what President Obama might expect in the 4 years ahead. As President Obama embarks on his second administration, what are some of the things about a second term that aren't necessarily obvious?
Well, in a second term, first of all, you live with the consequences of the first term. And that means that generally you are trying to solidify any gains that there may have been in the first term, and frankly, sometimes to deal with mistakes that were made in the first term that now need to be rectified.
From a nonpartisan standpoint, what's your best advice to a second-term White House?
Well, my advice to a second-term White House is to get started quickly. I've been asked many times, what does it feel like to go to an inauguration? Well, I can tell you the first inauguration is very exciting, and you're thinking, oh, how wonderful to be here, and you're looking around, I can't believe I'm part of history. I remember the second inauguration, I thought, all right, let's get this over and let me get to work. Because
I've got to get back to the office.
I've got to get back to the office because you really don't have very much time.
In the perspective of all the politics and the strum and drang that we see on Capitol Hill, what does Inauguration Day mean? How is it different from every other political day that we have?
Well, Inauguration Day is in many ways a celebration of our democracy and our peaceful transfer of power. Now, in this inauguration, we're re-electing a president, but still the people have spoken, and that president has now been reaffirmed. So it is about the democratic process, and it's the symbols of the democratic process, the symbol of the peaceful transfer of power. For the United States, it's been a long time since we worried about the peaceful transfer of power, but we have to remember that it is actually a fragile moment. So many countries can't take for granted that moment. So I love the inauguration for that very moment when the peaceful transfer of power is affirmed.